Welcome into our telethon for the Campbell County Cancer Association. Jim Freeman with Lonnie Hatmaker. And Lonnie, a very special day today. I guess this may be a threefold event here. We're celebrating your birthday right up top. You're 86 years young today. Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, Jim.
And we are also having this telethon to celebrate your birthday and also to remember and to honor your wife, Sandra Hatmaker.
Yeah, she's been gone 3 months.
Well, I knew it had not been that long ago, and what a lady.
Yeah, we fought that thing 14 years, and the last 5 years she was in the hospital bed right beside of my bed, and where that all she had to do was just grunt, and I was up making sure, trying to make her comfortable.
Wow, 14 years. The Campbell County Cancer Association does such a wonderful service for our community.
Jim, you're exactly right. Unless you would be really involved, they do so much good for the county. A dear friend of mine, he's passed on, was a gentleman by the name of Tom Leach. He got a bunch of us together in town, and we all bought 1 tank of fuel a week for different people that has to go backwards and forwards to Oak Ridge and everywhere else to get these treatments. And this money is a real help to the Campbell County Cancer Association. It's a really big help, and that's the reason I agreed to come and do what little bit that I could on behalf of Sandra and to help the association.
Well, this is an idea. This telethon tonight is yours. It came about maybe one day last week. We kind of started talking about it. You've been a busy man raising some money, and we'll be reading some pledges here in a bit. If you'd like to call us and make a pledge, 562-1450, area code 423. But you've really taken this and run with it.
Well, you know, I'm one of the last, I think 4 of us left in the whole town. I've been at it about 60 years, and to this left year, the rest of them is already gone to heaven. So if anybody out there at all that's listening to this program, I would like for you to call in and make a pledge. We have people here that will answer the phone and take your pledge. And it's kind of shocking that the amount of money we've already got before the program even started. It's somewhere $2,000+, and that is real thankful for everybody that has donated to this cause.
Well, this is money that will stay right here in Campbell County. All this money benefits Campbell County cancer patients, and like you, myself, I don't know there's anybody in Campbell County that cancer has not touched them in some form or fashion, whether it be that person or someone in their family. It touches everybody in some form or fashion here in Campbell County.
I'm asking all the churches if they will to call in and make a pledge, because every church that I know anything about, they have someone that either has cancer or they've died from it or whatever. And if all the churches would participate in this thing and call in and make a pledge, I appreciate it.
562-1450, area code 423. Also 423-566-1450, 562-3557. Our numbers here at WLAF, and we have our volunteers standing by. Clarence Lowe is here, and we're going to step away for just a short break and bring Clarence on to talk about the Campbell County Cancer Association and give us an idea of what is going on with the association all these years later since it was started way back in the 1980s. Stay right here with us. It's the telethon for the Campbell County Cancer Association on WLAF.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Clarence Lowe, and I'm the treasurer for Campbell County Cancer Association, and we're here tonight to honor Lonnie's birthday. And Lonnie, we're so glad that you had this idea that you would like to share with the Campbell County Cancer Association not only your birthday, but in memory of your wife Sandra. And we're appreciative of that. We've been at this. Campbell County Cancer Association started. You really gave a little history to it with Tom Leach and Billy Leach. Their idea that they kept seeing patients that could not afford to get to their treatments in Knoxville and Oak Ridge and different places, and that's been over 4 decades ago. If you can imagine, we've been at this, and there's several. In fact, some of the people that are here tonight with me, all of us have been working at this some 40 years plus, and it's been a great cause. The way that we operate, we help Campbell County people. We raise all of our money in Campbell County, and we don't get any monies other than what we collect locally here, and donations of the sort that you've done and others that are calling in. So if you'd like to make a pledge to us, we would encourage you to call. I can't do all the numbers. I can do 562-1450 is the only one I really know at this point, but that's the main one. And you can call that and make a pledge. And even if you don't get through tonight, you can still send it to P.O. Box 122, Jacksboro, 37757, Campbell County Cancer Association. So we're glad that you have chosen to honor us in this way.
I'm just happy to be able to participate in this fundraising deal. I'm just happy that I was able to do it.
Well, we're really happy because for instance, this past year, we haven't really finished the year out, with our bookkeeping yet, but it looks like we're going to spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $48,000 to $50,000 in gasoline. You talked about giving gasoline to get people there. We do voucher forms, and we've spent about that much money, I would take, this past year. And then we buy pharmaceutical things for people. If they have a prescription they need help with that relates to their cancer meds or whatever, we help them with that. We buy supplies, just a number of things that we do. And we about 95 to 96% of every dollar that we get goes right back to the patient. We don't have any paid staff at all. We're all volunteers. I'll work Tuesday coming. I'll be there on Tuesday, and Jim Pierce he's out there helping us tonight, but he worked yesterday in the office. So we staff the office and help the people in that way as they come in and serve them. So we do a good cause for the community, and like I say, we've been at it over 40 years.
Well, that's Clarence. That's good of you and everybody that works in that, and I would like to everyone that's out there, if it's listening to this program, to call in and make a pledge on the behalf of someone you know that is affected by this disease, and it will greatly be appreciated very, very much.
We not only can we dedicate this program in the memory of Sandra's we're doing, but we've had several. We have a drawer at our office we call the sad drawer. That's the drawer that we use when people pass from cancer. And we've had a number of people this year, and just this past month, we've had people that pass. And we get attached to them too, and so it's like losing a family member, even though they may not be related. And there's not really, like Jim said, there's not really any of us that have not been affected by cancer in some way, either in our families or individually ourselves. And it's a good thing for our community, and we just do it is because we want to serve the people that we help.
Well, that's very good. Tom Leach was a dear friend of mine, and I'd go by and encourage him to be strong and to hope and pray that he would get better. And Tom he helped raise a lot of money for this Cancer Association, him and Billy. And I had the opportunity to visit with them just a few days before their passing, and it was such a blessing that I was able to do that. But I'm asking everybody out there, especially the school system, the courthouse, everybody that here, call somebody up and tell them to turn their television on and call in and make a pledge so that we can raise plenty of money for this telethon tonight.
Well, you know, some people still probably are trying to find us again in terms of the station. It used to be Channel 12, and now I turn my Channel 12 on and it's something out of Knoxville. But if you tune in to 1080 or 1089, I know that for a fact, I do that. Because, you know, we got ball games and different things that we watch on that, and it's a good thing, and it's a good community service for our community here. And we're so appreciative of Jim and his staff, Matthew, that's here tonight, for working and allowing us to do this. So we appreciate that. But let me tell you a Tom Leach story, too. Tom would always come to our meetings when we had our board meetings, and I've been treasurer for almost 30 years now. It seems like a lifetime. But Tom would always want to give me a raise every meeting. He would make that motion. I said, Tom, nothing added to nothing is nothing. So that's Tom, you know. But he really had us, you know, like you say, he was a good servant to the community, and so I'm glad you mentioned him.
I miss all of my old friends that's gone on, left me here by myself, and I pray every day that I can hurry up and go and be with them, because my dear friend Hack Ayers, we're together 60 plus years, and Hack's gone on, but he left behind 3 fine girls, and they're all staying in the business and running well, but they're a fine bunch of girls, the Myers children is.
I agree with you. We're going to take a break here, and we'll go out and get some pledges and come in, and Jim will come back in and read some pledges for you here in a minute. So we're grateful for everybody. If you call 566-1450 or 562-1450, and the other one is 562-3557. I got it right. How about that? Bingo. We'll be right back.
It is the Campbell County Cancer Association Telethon 2024. And are we going to make the cake presentation now? Let's do that. It is Lonnie Hatmaker's 86th birthday. That's part of what we're celebrating tonight. And also we're honoring and remembering his lovely wife, Sandra. And Clarence has come up with this birthday cake. Is it 98 years or 86?
98 years. Yeah.
98 years. Oh, wait.
Jones, and I call her the cake lady. And she lives down in Jacksboro way. And it says, happy birthday. Oh, I've got to turn around backwards, don't I? Yeah, there we
98.
go. 98. So.
Well,
she wanted you to have this, and that was her part of pledging to the
that's
telethon tonight. So
very
we enjoyed
sweet.
that.
You want to hold that up for the camera so we can,
Sure.
can get a kind of angle it up there and let's get a good shot of that if we can.
Very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind somebody to take that kind of time.
86.
86.
All right. Miss Joyce, thank you. That is fantastic. 86 years old, or 98 if you turn it around the other way, right?
Yeah, I don't want it to be 98.
It is our Cancer Association Telethon, and we've had a few phone calls already. We welcome your calls at 562-1450. And Lonnie, you were talking about your days of being on the radio promoting your business, Hack Air's business, and Hack was saying something one day about he didn't think anybody was listening. And what did you do? What was your response to that?
Well, the way the story went, I told Hack one day, I said, Hack, I don't believe nobody's listening to this radio program. I said, I'm going to say something that'll be contrary in the morning. And he said, well, what are you going to say? And I said, well, I don't know. I'll think of something. So about halfway middle through my radio program, I made a statement that we must have the craziest governor that has ever had in this state. He's trying to pass a law where women can't drive before daylight and after dark. And I just left it at that. Them phones never did quit ringing. They rang for a week. And I think somebody in Nashville called Hack or something about it. And, Hack knowed all them people down there. Said, I don't know where Lonnie gets all this information he's up telling people about. We had some real good times.
Oh, there's no question. All right here on WLAF, a lot of those. Hey,
Yeah.
let's read some pledges. Sandra, Sharon Reidner, I'll get it straight. Miss Sharon, thank you. Sharon Reidner, a $200 pledge. This is in memory of Sandra Hatmaker, Lonnie's wife, and in honor of Lonnie on his 86th birthday. Sharon, thank you. $200. Lonnie, if you'll get a couple of pledges going for us here too, please.
Miss Ann there's Coven. I growed up with Ann. She's one sweet lady. And Ann, thank you so much for this donation. We love you, Ann.
$100. Thank you, Ann. Who else we have here?
Sharon Burse. She's cut my hair for 25 years, and she always asked her, give her $5 and come back Friday. But thank you, Sharon, so much for this $25.
Sharon Burns, thank you, Sharon. And 562-1450 if you'd like to get a pledge into us here tonight. And you've collected, you're the one who solicited most of these, aren't you?
I would take ever how many he gave me, I managed to get them all out except 3.
Okay, well,
And,
we can do those tomorrow.
Well, yes, I guess I can. But Ron Pierce at Pierce Furniture Company, knowed Ron for 100 years, I guess, and Carl, his dad, was a great friend of mine. Every piece of furniture we had, appliances that we had, they came from Carl. But Carl, he'd only fix what he sold. He wouldn't come in your house and fix something. There's another brand of silk this.
That's right. That's his trademark.
There wasn't nothing wrong with that. That's the way Carl done business. But Ron's done such a good job with Carl being gone. And anybody out there, if you ever need any furniture or appliances or anything, you need to go by and see Ron. He's a fine fellow.
That's the Pierce Furniture Gallery, right there between stoplights 8 and 9 in downtown La Follette. And Lonnie Hatmaker made a pledge. Thank you, Lonnie, $100. This, of course, in memory of his wife, Sandra Hatmaker. And then Scott Lindsay's Carpet and Paint Center in memory of his mom, Mona Lisa, $500. Scott, thank you for that pledge. 423-562-1450. We'll get you through here, WLAF. And Lonnie, you can't see it on TV. Lonnie's wearing his signature white cowboy boots. You've worn these white cowboy boots some form or fashion for 100 years, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's about 60 or 70 years.
Yeah, that's one of your calling your calling cards.
Let me tell you a story that everybody would get a kick out of. Mm-hmm. Clarence Ferris was a dear friend of mine. And if you needed $1, he'd let you have 50 cents. So he was wanting me to take a couple of days off, take him to Nashville to get him a pair of cowboy boots. And I said, Clarence, I can't do that. I've got to stay here and work. I said, Bo Hollingsworth's got a son down there. Go down there and get him to help you get you a pair of boots. Well, anyway, some time went by, and Clarence finally got him a pair of cowboy boots. And cowboy boots, if they don't fit, they're the most miserable thing you ever put your foot in. So Clarence, he'd call me every day to come over and take me back in the safe where he had his cowboy boots. He had them locked up in a safe back there. And finally, I told Hack, I said, Hack, I'm tired of seeing Clarence's cowboy boots, so I'm just going to buy them things and take them out here and give them to somebody. And I said, that way I won't be having to go over and talk to Clarence about these cowboy boots. So I did. That's how we ended the story on the cowboy boots.
But I think Clarence Lowe has some more pledges for us. Did you want us to read a couple more here? Okay. Just step right on in. Yes, we're kind of casual here tonight. Very good. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Judy Wilson. Judy Wilson, we all growed up together, and we were all so poor that we was grown before we got the road blacktopped. But anyway, Judy she's my buddy, and her son owns Hollingsworth's meat market over there. And anyone, I don't guess you need to advertise much for them, because they're so busy every time you go in there that there ain't no more room for anybody to get in the store. And so she made this donation on behalf of David and Darren. Darren's the one that runs the store. And everybody trades at Hollingsworth's, because if you want an inch steak, they'll cut it for you. And if you want it thin enough you can see through it, then they'll get Judy to cut it for you. So everybody will. Thank you, Judy. I love you, honey. And for this pledge.
Miss Judy, thank you. You'll see her at the cash register tomorrow over at Hollingsworth's Meat Market. $100. Thank you, Miss Judy Wilson. And Arlie and Betty Muse, $100. Arlie and Betty, thank you so much. This is in memory of both of their mothers. Arlie and Betty Muse, thank you. And we have more pledges to read. And you've done a lot of these yourself. Here's one that you solicited, I'm sure.
That's Norelda Parrott. She was a great friend of Sanders. And thank you, Norelda, for this money. It'll be greatly appreciated. Thank you again.
Our telethon tonight here on WLAF in honor of Lonnie Hatmaker's 86th birthday and in memory of his wife, Sandra Hatmaker, here tonight on WLAF 562-1450. We'll get you through and get a pledge on the air for you, from us, from you to us tonight. We appreciate that, Lonnie.
Barbara Archer, she lives up at Duff. And Barbara, she has made a $25 donation on behalf of Sandra Hatmaker. And thank you, Barbara, so much. We love you.
Well, of course, Miss Bobby is part of the Cancer Association. Barbara Archer, thank you, Miss Bobby. We appreciate that so much. And here's another Hollingsworth's connection.
Yeah, Hollingsworth, Darren come through again. He made this on behalf of Lonnie and my wife, Sandra. And $250. And Darren, thanks a million for the donation.
562-1450 will get you through for a donation, for a pledge here tonight. I'm not sure if I can read this. You may have a better luck at that than looks like I'm going to have.
That is, that's my writing.
Oh, well, that makes it
Yeah,
even more
his,
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Larry McCulley.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Larry.
Yeah, he's no, this is Bruce Ferguson on the behalf of Aunt Agnes and John. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay. Bruce, thank you. $100. A pledge to tonight's Campbell County Cancer Association Telethon, 562-1450. We'll get you through, and we'll take your pledge over the phone here right now if you'd like to give us a call. There's Larry McCullough's
Yeah, Larry
contribution.
McCulley.
Yeah.
Thank you, Larry, for this $100. It'll really be used. Larry, you're a fine person, and we love you. Thank you, Larry.
And the folks at Food Lion have made a pledge, $25. This is in honor of Buddy Gregory and also in memory of Sandra Hatmaker from the Food Lion folks.
Yeah, and that Food Line folks is a big corporation, and they're a good store to shop at. And I appreciate them doing this. And I would hope that Food City and Walmart would call in and make a pledge to this. If Food Line can do it, you folks can do it. Thank you.
562-1450. And Clarence, you have a few more here to pass along.
There's one called in, one of the girls you were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's Tracy. Tracy Dyer. Yeah, Tracy, she's one of Hack and Tommy's children, and she's married to J.J. Dyer. And they're just good people. And I'm so proud of them children standing there with Hack and Tommy being gone and making the company work. And I love you girls very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. We appreciate that. $100 in memory of Sandra Hatmaker in honor of Lonnie Hatmaker. Of course, today's Lonnie's 86th birthday. Lonnie?
Yeah, I'm 86-year-old today, and it didn't take too awful long to get there. But about all my friends is checked out and going on, and I hope and pray that I can be with him, because Hack's in heaven and he needs me up there to help him have an auction sale. So if anybody's don't have anything else to pray about, you just can pray that I can hurry and check out and go help him with his auctions.
Okay, let's see. This is from Thelma McCulley. Miss Thelma, thank you. This is in memory of Elmer McCulley. $100. Thank you, Miss Thelma. And our folks, the Malicotes at Dixie Roofing, $500.
$500. Let me tell you about Dixie Roofing. Mike Malicote's married to Arnold Murrah's daughter, and they've got two children. And little Mike, he pretty much now is running Dixie Roofing. Anyway, he's the head of the day-by-day operation, and he's just a fine young man. And when I went to visit with him, he went out and warmed his truck up. And I thought, well, he come back and he said, well, did you go somewhere with me? And I said, well, we went up to his house, and I got to see his little baby. She's, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old, but she's like a little angel. And we got to talking to the mother, and the mother, we was all raised in church. There's babies. I had no idea who she might have been, but it's Raymond Duncan and Dorsey's daughter. And they're just such a fine people. But little Mike, I appreciate you, and I'm so proud of you. And thank you for the $500, Michael.
Michael, thank you. This, of course, in memory of Sandra Hatmaker and in honor of Lonnie Hatmaker. Lonnie's 86th birthday today. Here's one from our pals at Smith Hardware.
Smith Hardware, thank you, Sherman, very much for this, because Smith Hardware today we call it the Walt Lyons Trading Center, because this go by the name of Ace Hardware now. But there's one thing about Ace Hardware: it don't matter what you're looking for, if it's a thimble, or if it's a screw, or if it's a gallon of paint, whatever you're looking for, they'll have one. And I got my mother's old kerosene lights out, and I said, well, I'll never find the parts where you put down the kerosene to make the light burn. And I went to Smith's Hardware. They had 2, and that's what I needed was 2. And then they had the fuel that goes in the lights. And we used them on Christmas Day. And the grandchildren, they didn't know what in the world to make out of it because they looked for the electricity to come on. But we used them on Christmas Day. And Sherman, thank you, and your mother is one fine lady. All of the employees at Ace Hardware is good, just good people. Thank you, Sherman, for this $50 donation.
Sherman, thanks. Smith Hardware since 1933. That's in honor and in memory of Sandra Hatmaker. And I think you know this fellow right here for this donation pretty well.
I do know Clarence Lowe. Thank you, Clarence, for this $100 donation. Clarence, did you teach school with Sandra?
She was here in the system when I was here.
Well, that's kind of that's kind of the way I remember it. And Clarence, thank you a million for this $100 donation. And you know better than anybody how much it does to help so many people.
More than $2,000 in either collections and or donations so far tonight, 562-1450. If you'd like to call and be a part of the Campbell County Cancer Association Telethon, it's in celebration of Lonnie Hatmaker's 86th birthday today, and of course in memory of his lovely wife, Sandra Hatmaker, whom he lost about 3 months ago. 562-1450. Every penny donated goes directly to help Campbell County cancer patients here in Campbell County, and just a very, very small portion of the donations are used for expenses. I mean, just maybe 1 or 2% of the entire total, but everything else goes right here to our cancer patients in Campbell County. 562-1450. We're going to step away for just a moment and be back with your pledge here on WLAF.
right, we're back again, and Jim Freeman and I have swapped chairs again. You know, I'll probably run into people in the community. Lonnie, they've confused us when we did telethons. The last telethon we did was in 2019 here, and but I'd go out in the community and everybody would say, "You work at the radio station." You know, they would think that I was Jim Freeman, so we've got to call one another brothers. But I'll tell you a little story that we talked about me teaching the school system with Sandra. But Sandra was my boss at one time. I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
I worked at Lyons Supermarket when I was in college, and I had 3 or 4 bosses. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it was an experience, and it's like you said, you could find anything there. So I appreciate it.
You'd have one of anything.
Yeah. Good experience for me.
I ran into a dear friend of mine that I've been in church with for 100 years. Ben Beard. Ben's retired now and kind of out in the pasture with the rest of us. And Ben was a police officer. And I don't know what Sandra done, probably doing 100 miles an hour in a 30-mile speed zone. But anyway, Ben pulled her over. And I guess they changed words or something. And Ben said when he turned around that Sandra had tore into him, pulled his ears about off, said she kicked me where that I didn't need to be kicked, and said I've never been able to have children since then. And said we finally, there's another officer come and said between the two of us, said we were so proud to get rid of her. Said we, instead of taking her to jail, said we took her and turned her over to her dad.
That sounds good.
Yeah, but they made up and they were buddies until Sandra passed.
Well, now, Ben and I talked together, and I just saw Ben a few days ago, and I love and respect Ben Baird. He was a good guy.
And Ben is a good fellow.
Yeah, he still is a good guy.
When I first came to La Follette, we was at Beach Street Church of God. And Ben's grandmother, she pretty much told everybody in the church what to do. She very, very outspoken. And the daughter Ruth, she was the treasurer at the church. And her name was Julie. And something had went wrong at church, and she never got her way about something. And everybody walked back in. I didn't know anybody had any cars, or if he did, they didn't drive them. And some of the kids, one of them must have had a car or something. He had took some of the girls home or something and came back around the road. And there was Aunt Julie right in the middle of the road. So he had to bow up and stop. And he got out and he said, "Aunt Julie, what are you doing walking in the middle of the road?" She said, "I'm a taxpayer. I walk anywhere I want to walk." Well, she was a she is a saint.
Yeah. Well, you know, every church has somebody of that nature, I think.
Yes.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Let's remind them again, 562-1450, 566-1450, and 562-3557. I believe I got those right. But call, make your pledge. We're right at $2,500, I believe now, and so I heard the phone ringing just recent, so we've got some more pledges coming in. But or maybe a couple of the ones that you read earlier, Norita Parrott.
Yes.
You know, Norita is one of our volunteers down through the years, and she spent a lot of time with the Campbell County Cancer Association. So I'm pretty sure she might be watching tonight.
Well, she probably is, Norita.
So hello, Norita, and we love you.
Yeah, we sure do. And her daughter, Kathy. But Norita, your husband was one fine Christian man.
Yes.
He lived by the golden rule. And I still love him to this day, even though he's not here. He was a good man, Norita, and thanks a million for this money that you gave us.
And one other that you had, Judy Wilson, you mentioned from Hollingsworth. She called out there a few minutes ago. She made me a fruitcake for Christmas.
Judy makes a.
Listen, it was outstanding.
she's a sweetheart. She brought
You're watching
fruitcake for Christmas. But
Well, if you don't like them, you know who does, so you can send it on to me.
yeah.
But one of the things that I don't think we said a while ago, her pledge was in honor of David and Darren, but Darren is a cancer survivor.
Yes, yeah,
And,
he survived it.
Yes.
He sure did.
And we're grateful.
But Judy's brother, Don Walden, and I grew up together. Was the best friends that any two people could ever have. And I was always so small, and Don was a pretty good-sized boy. Well, every time on the school bus somebody wanted to whip somebody, they'd whip me. Finally, one guy, a young man, whatever he was, he blacked my eye. Don grabbed him up by the hair of the head and warped him up against one of them seats. And that was the last time anybody ever decided
Didn't bother you anymore,
No,
did it?
nobody ever bothered me after that. But Don Walden was a good man.
Yes.
And Darren and them was good people.
Very good people.
I've traded at Hollingsworth. I remember the old man Hollingsworth. And then here come Philip Farmer and Nellie, and Shannon had it, and I stayed with Shannon till he got rich and quit, and then Darren, I've been there with Darren ever since he's been there.
Well, I kind of shop over there, so I'm trying to make Darren rich too. So you don't think we'll lose him anytime soon, though?
No. But one thing about it, I guess getting old has its advantages and it has its disadvantages. But anyway, I went in to get me a couple of packs of smoking tobacco, and I turned around and me and Judy, we get to talk. That's when we get to see her is at the store. And I started at my truck, get ready to leave, and I looked for my smoking tobacco, and I said, "Where's my smoking tobacco?" They said, "Oh, they already put it in your truck." Don't matter what you get, they will take it and put it in your truck for you, your car, whatever you got. But now they start somewhere, I think, in the neighborhood of like 4 o'clock in the morning, making hamburger meat. And I think that I'm close to being right about every restaurant we have here. Now, the market on Stinking Creek, they buy like 100 pounds of hamburger every other day. And Katie up there, I forget how much she gets every day. And then the other little boy there, the Lindsay boy at the pool room, he gets a 100-pound bet every other day. So they make more hamburger meat than I'd say than all the stores in La Follette put together.
That'd be Tony, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Tony goes to church with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. And
Yeah.
was one of my students too, by the way.
Yeah.
We got another pledge here. You want to read that one?
Mickey Woods.
Yes.
Mickey, thank you for this pledge for $100. We love you so much. And Becky Woods and Gregory Woods. I'm not for sure that I know these people.
That's in their memory.
In memory of them, yeah. But they're we really appreciate this money.
Yeah. Mickey Woods has made this in memory of Becky and Greg.
Yes.
Gregory.
Yeah.
And we do appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
A good way to remember. I always try. I've got a good friend that always sends something normally once a year to the Cancer Association, memory of my mother,
Yeah.
Who had cancer and passed from it. And then we have a pledge here that I think you might know.
Everybody knows Debbie and Brent. Debbie,
It's Walter Funeral Home.
yeah, Debbie McNally. I'm old. I can't think of things much. But anyway, Debbie McNally, I was going to get her to fill out the application since Charles had been gone and to see if she would want to take care of an old man. But anyway, I brought Debbie a box of candy every Christmas or Valentine. And somebody told Charles that I wouldn't appreciate men bringing my wife candy. And Charles said, I do appreciate that. He said, she gets the candy and I get to eat it.
There you go. He was a good one.
Debbie's a sweet, and her and the little boy. Brent, yeah.
Brent's my neighbor, in fact.
Oh, he did?
Yes,
well,
Brent's my
they're
neighbor
good people.
there.
And thank you, Debbie, for the $500. Thank you so much. Because Debbie's the last one, her and Brent, they're the last one to let you down.
She does that in memory of Sandra and in honor of your birthday. So,
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people won't maybe realize today's your birthday until tomorrow, so they can still wish you a happy birthday tomorrow and contribute, pledge tomorrow. So.
You can pledge tomorrow, and I can bring you the card, or you can call Clarence or call the radio station here. They'll accept it for you. And
the address again is Campbell County Cancer Association, P.O. Box 122, Jacksboro. So you can send in. Where actually our office hours might need to give that too if anybody needs to come by and see us or want to come by. We're open 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, from 9 to 1 o'clock. And except on the days that the city's closed, we're closed. You know, so if you can't get in the gate, that means the city's closed.
Yeah.
But we're grateful to Walter's Funeral Home.
We're grateful to Walter's Funeral Home. I reckon they've put
appreciate the
every hat
contribution.
maker that's been put down. They've conducted it, and they did. My little sweet wife, and they did such a good job. And Brent's such a fine young man, but she's one sweet girl. That Debbie is. She's but.
Yeah, we don't need to brag too much on Brent tonight.
No. We don't brag too much on him. But
watch him play basketball many games. So
yeah, he's
good folk.
They're good folks.
Yes,
they're really good folks.
But we encourage you to call in. You know, our mission of the Campbell County Cancer Association has never changed. We started out with the idea that we wanted to help the patients get from La Follette here or the area to their treatments and to their doctors.
Yes.
You know, we don't just stop when they finish treatments. We help them right on through as they need care for their cancer care. And
you'd think that everybody in that courthouse, all of them, has got family members that's had to fight this horrible disease. And I'm asking everyone in that courthouse to call and pledge to this cancer association if they will. And all the school system teachers, if you can, please call in and make a pledge to the Cancer Association. We'll certainly be appreciated.
Well, you know, we talked about the help we give them. Sometimes they just want to come in and sit down and talk to us, and we lend an ear to that.
Yeah.
And we don't try to ever be doctor or nurse or anything of that sort, but we do have an ear to listen to patients and try to guide them. And, you know, if they need something that we don't have, we try to find if we can help them, you know, in that regards.
You know, with the grace of God, the good Lord, we didn't have to have, because of their insurance and everything, and Sandra being a school teacher, and they have a good retirement system, that we didn't have to ask for any help. And me being in business, and the grace of God, I was able to do what I needed to do and provide a home for we could keep her at home at all times. And we had 3 nurses, and her son-in-law, Ken Mays, he's a nurse. And between Ken and my daughter's Donna, we had somebody. We needed a nurse. We'd have one in 3 minutes or 5 at the longest. And but during she was in the hospital bed 5 years. The last little bit, the hospice people got involved. And I don't know if it's a a government run thing or nothing much about it, except they really took good care of Sandra.
They know what they're doing.
They
sure.
know what they're
Yes,
doing.
yes.
They had a young minister. He came by. He came by every week, and he'd pray with Sandra and help her trying to prepare for the flying away, because with Sandra being in heaven and my mother up there, don't matter what the good Lord goes to do, they're telling him, hey, they can do it a whole lot better. And that was Sandra. And we was at a fancy restaurant having dinner in Knoxville one time, and this middle-aged man came over, and he recognized Sandra, and he came over and got her by the hand. And she said, "What are you doing holding my hand?" And he said, "I want to see if my finger's still on there. The way you swung it, us children said, I figured it fell off, but now." She said, "Yes, and you're the meanest little old boy I had in school." Well, it hadn't been 15 minutes, and she was telling me she never did have a bad kid in school. It was all good.
Yeah, they were all good. Well, that's good. Good memories are important to the healing process. So
Sandra and I,
we definitely remember her tonight.
Oh, yeah. Sandra and I, we had a lot of good times together. I don't regret the 40 years that I was married to her. And we'd get up, and if it's pretty day, we'd just get us we'd take like 5 changes of underclothes, but wouldn't take much more than that. And we'd just go at the airport. We'd walk up to the counter, wherever they'd say, "Where are you going?" And we'd say, "Well, wherever the plane's going, it make no difference if it's fine with us." We wound up one time in Nova Scotia, and that's at the end of the world. And I thought we'd just get a car and maybe spend one night on the road and go back down to Boston where you could eat lobster. Hell, it took a week to get back down through there. Finally, they put the car and all on the boat, and the boat took us for 5 hours to get back to land on the other side or wherever it was at. But we had a lot of good times together. Another time we did the same thing. We wound up in El Paso, Texas. Well, what we didn't know about El Paso, you go down the middle of the street, you're over Mexico on one side, and the other side is in the United States. And if you was going to go in a United States store, there'll be 20 Mexicans on the other holler. We got it a whole lot cheaper than they do. And they did have. You didn't pay no tax or anything on it. But what have you done? The government wanted a little share out of it. They call it, whatever they call it, you had to pay a tax on because you bought it for nothing.
I believe you hit it right there, tax.
Yeah, well, every way it was. But anyway, there's a nice Mexican restaurant, and that Mexican food's good food. I like it. We eat quite often at the Mexican restaurant. And I told we'd hired a guide, and I told that guy that I'd like to maybe eat at that restaurant. He said, "Oh, no." He said, well, you don't want to go in there?" He said, 5 got killed last night. I said, what did they get killed about? He said, "Oh, we don't know." I said, it's no big deal. I said, "We have a killing every day." And I said, "Well, we want to go in and eat." And he said, No. He said, "I'm going to take a chance on you getting killed. I'm responsible for you people."
I believe we need to send Alan Miller down there to get a few of those for his ghost tour that he does here in town.
Well, yeah.
Well, let's take a break, but before we do, let's give the numbers out again. I don't know how much, we've got just a few more minutes left on the telethon, and it's 562-1450, 566-1450, and 562-3557. And we'll be right back with the telethon, and Lonnie may have another story for us.
Well, I'll see if I can think up another one.
Good job.
Yeah, I'll tell them about the first time me and Hack got $1 ahead, and we was going to go to Hawaii. Well, hell, I didn't know. Hack ain't never been out of town either, you know. He might have been to Florida somewhere like that, but we hadn't opportunity to be out of the country. So there's some kind of special. 3 days and 4 nights and 3 days or something like that for practically nothing to Hawaii. So we did. We took the deal, and the first thing we did when we got off the plane in Hawaii, we took the ticket and went up to ask the guy where this motel was at. And the guy started laughing. He said, "That motel's over on the next island." I said, surely not. He said, "Well, yeah, it is." Yeah. He said, "You can stay here." And I told Hank, I said, "We might as well make the best out of this thing and stay here." And I said, "We'll call and see if we can find out something." He said, "Well, go over and see if you can find out anything." Well, I went over, there's a phone hanging on the wall, and they had the phone hanging so high up I couldn't even reach the thing. I had to turn my suitcase upside down to get on top of it to reach the phones. And I kept asking everybody where's the closest motel, and they said, "Well, it's just shortly there." And so we just made the best out of it, and what we didn't know was it took you a day to get there, and a day to get back, so you only had 2 days vacation.
All righty, let's take a break here, and we'll come back and finish off here in the telethon. But call in your pledge. We
please, everybody that's listening to this program and all. And if you don't call in tonight, call them tomorrow. I'll bring and pledge something to here at the radio station. There'll be somebody here that'll take your pledge. I would again like to have people at the courthouse, the employees, because it's election time this year, and you just need to call in so that and help this association.
You might give them a ride in that El Camino.
I might let you ride my El Camino. When I drove that El Camino so long, the phone rang one day, and I answered the phone, and I seen it was a long distance call, and the lady on the phone, she was telling me that my tail light was out. And I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "Indiana." Said, "We was coming out of Knoxville and got behind you and said, your tail light's out." And I said, "Well," she said, "Well, we used to live in La Follette 40 years ago, and you had a El Camino."
Well, I had somebody this week to tell me, he said, "I don't believe I know Lonnie, but," he said, "he's that guy that drives that El Camino." I said, "You got him?" Well, all right, let's take a break, and we'll be back and read a couple more pledges here.
It is the Campbell County Cancer Association Telethon here on WLAF. We're glad you've connected tonight. We're celebrating Lonnie Hatmaker and his 86th birthday. Happy birthday, Lonnie.
Thank you, Jim.
And we found out real fast when we turned his birthday cake around, 86 years, it all of a sudden becomes 98. But 86 is the correct number. And, of course, our telethon tonight is in memory of Lonnie's wife, Sandra Hatmaker. And we've had so many pledges tonight. We thank you for those. And one of those is from Miss Shirley Ogg.
Shirley Ogg, thank you, honey, for this money. I just wonder if Sandra had you in school, because I hear her talk about some of the Oggs family that she had in school, and she always said something good about you. And we love you, Shirley.
Shirley, thank you for that $50 pledge. Clarence is working up a total. We think we're well beyond $2,000 tonight. And Lonnie, you have gone out and solicited a whole lot of these funds, and we thank you for that. And Miss Sharon Perkins calling here just a minute ago.
Yes, Sharon, thanks a million for the money, honey. $50 will go a long ways helping someone to get backwards and forward to get their treatments. Thank you again, Shirley.
Sharon, thank you. Sharon Perkins, $50 pledge. She, of course, lives in Caryville, and this is in memory of her mother and her sister, Rose and Brenda. So
Probably with Sandra because she was in Caryville. Yeah.
Okay, you talking to me or Lonnie?
Both of them.
Oh, okay. You're talking about Sharon Perkins.
Sharon Perkins taught with Sandra, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, all right. Okay, so Sharon taught with Sandra, looks like.
Well, yes, and that's where I got the name from. She taught school with Sandra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Miss Sharon.
Shirley, if you know anyone that's been affected by this horrible disease, call and see if some of their families would pledge in some manner to help someone that's less fortunate. We love you.
All the money raised here in the telethon for the Campbell County Cancer Association stays in Campbell County. It benefits Campbell County cancer patients. Maynard Sweat has called in. Thanks, Maynard, a $100 donation. This is in memory of Sandra Hatmaker, and everybody knows Maynard goes by one name. He's not Maynard Sweat. He's just Maynard.
He's just Maynard. You can go to Maynard's. You can go to Maynard. Sweat is just one good person. We've used him for all of our record needs and everything. And I like to go up there and just look around all them old cars he's got. And my truck's so old, I need a part, I go up to Maynard's because he'll always have, he's like Walt Lyons, he'll have one. Whatever you're looking for, Maynard will have one. And he's just a good person. I love Maynard. And I'll tell you another fine gentleman we've not, Sandra had her in school. J.R. Kitt's wife, she died with cancer. And Sandra had her in school. Well, the little girl was raised up with a bunch of just rough-neck boys, and she'd come to school crying, and Sandra would get her up in her arms and pet her and get her calmed down. And so J.R., call in, if you will, and give us a donation for this Cancer Association. Thanks a million.
562-1450 pledge is still coming in. We have a few more moments to go. Of course, Terry Sweat and his regular Wednesday program will be on here as usual at 8:30 this evening. And the McCulloughs.
Bonnie McCullough.
Yes. And Bill.
Bill and I've been in church for 1,000 years together. And Bill's like the rest of us. He's old age finally caught up with him. And but we'd be sitting, we always sat together in church. And since Bill got older, he'd kind of nose off and go to sleep during church service. And I'd taken the grandchild with me to church one Sunday, and Bill went off to sleep, and the grandchild When Joe said, Papa, said that man's asleep. I said, oh, yeah, he's taking a little nap. He's listening now. But Bonnie, thank the world of you, honey. And I'm going to go by and see Bill and take him a box of candy here for long. Thanks again for the $50.
The McCulleys, Bill and Bonnie, thank you. And that's, of course, in memory of Sandra Hatmaker. And these folks, very near and dear to you.
Oh, yeah. Ours real estate company. Them's my girls. Hack and Tommy is the mom and dad, but they're still my girls. And but I love you children. And yours has been, I'm so proud of you and taking that business and keeping it going. I am so proud of you and so much. And thanks again, Debbie and Trace and Cody. Yours are fine girls. Thanks a million for the $100.
From Ayers Auction and Real Estate, 562-1450 will get you through to the telethon here at WLAF. We have about 5 minutes to go. Still plenty of time to get your phone call or your pledge in tonight. We're more than $2,000.
33. Let me see.
We're more than $3,000. $3,350. Lonnie, you have done an outstanding job with this in less than a week.
Well, if I can get. There's a couple of things I never got done was like the Rogers Group at the Rock Quarry, Mr. Ratliff that owns, or he's the head of it or whatever. He'd always made a good sizable donation, and I hadn't been able to make it out there. So if Mr. Ratliff from the Rock Quarry people, if you're a listener or somebody can tell you if you make us a donation, everybody would appreciate it.
Without a doubt, 562-1450 will get you through to the Campbell County Cancer Association Telethon here at WLAF. Again, just a few more moments, more than $3,300 raised so far tonight. And this is a celebration of Lonnie's 86th birthday. And, of course, we're remembering and honoring Lonnie's late wife, Sandra Hatmaker, and we've had a whole lot of donations wanting to memorialize Sandra tonight.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Death is not easy. It's hard. But I can see Sandra walking around the house at 2 o'clock in the morning, and she's been past 3 months. But I guess it'll get better. The council people you listen to that tries to help you through these things, they say it'll get better. But anyway, I appreciate every one of them and all Sandra's students that she's had. If you can, call in and make a donation for the Cancer Center for a little sweet Sandra.
562-1450. And our address is the Campbell County Cancer Association, P.O. Box 122, Jacksboro 37757. If you'd like to send your pledge in tonight, get that ready to go, mail out in the morning. The Campbell County Cancer Association, P.O. Box 122, Jacksboro 37757. And you can call us here at the station, too, 562-1450, as we're taking your pledges here tonight for a couple of more minutes. And, Lonnie, this has gone by quite fast tonight.
It is. I believe it's the fastest I've seen in a while. I'm so old. I just work 3 hours a day. And time I go to work and take an hour's nap, it just 3 hours is pretty much gone. And then, but I get to see a lot of my friends, and we just talk about the old times. And Brian Miller worked for me for 1,000 years of laying carpet. And Brian, if you're listening, call in and make us a $10,000 donation. And that way, when Brian first come to work for me, he drove up in a little old white van, rusted out with salt, and a kid hanging out every hole there was in that thing. And so I went out to Lee Ford's and bought a brand new van. And when he come to work Monday morning, I gave him the keys for that van. He said, how do you think we're going to pay for it? I said, Brian, we'll pay for it by the month like everybody else does. He said, I'll never live to pay for it. I said, well, if you don't, I will. It's no big deal, Brian. And so one time after he'd been there for I don't know how many years, there's some kind of disagreement come up, and it's so important neither one of us remembered it about it. But anyway, Brian said, I'm going to quit. I said, no, you can't quit. Instead of me firing you, I'll hire you to quit. I wrote him a check. That's like 3 o'clock, and he left. But the next morning at 8 o'clock, he was already out there. He said, I have to work.
You're ready to go back to work. We've got another pledge here. Jim, won't you read this for me, please?
Well, I'm not sure if I can make it out. I thought you were going to kind of.
Sharon Ryder's writing.
Okay.
So that's why
I thought you were going to kind of translate it because this is near and dear to you.
Yes.
Okay.
This is from Carol Ann Smith. And, she does this in memory of my mother. She called her Mama Lowe, and still does. And then Marvin Smith, her husband, and then Vincent Thacker, which was her nephew, and then Leon Smith was her brother-in-law. And all those folks were like my mama. They all were victims of cancer. So we appreciate Carol Ann. We love her, and she pledges $100 to this association. She gives every year. She sends a pledge in memory of my mother.
Well, see, there's no way I could have figured that out. All that. Thank you for that, Clarence. Call still coming in. A pledge ready to be read here in just a second. 423-562-1450. Very casual here tonight as we're getting ready to sign off. As Terry Sweat and his program coming up here in just a little bit at 8:30, like always on Wednesdays here on WLAF. 423-562-1450, our phone number to get your pledge through and on the air. And the mailing address for the Cancer Association is P.O. Box 122, Jacksboro 37757. And Lonnie, when did you come up with this idea to have this telethon?
Well,
Celebrate your birthday?
it's the last thing I'll be able to do, in honoring Sandra. It's my time is up. We should have done already been up. But anyway, Terry Sweat is a good Christian man. He worked for me for 15 years, and he'd always IRS got after me one time, and I don't know what anyway, the old agent after 5 or 6 months, he said, I think I've got this thing all figured out. Lonnie said, there's one thing I just want to know about. I said, well, what is it, sir? He said, what do you do with so many skill saws? I said, I don't even own a skill saw. I said, Morton and Wilson just right out the street was going to go out and see if he knows anything about it. I said, I don't know nothing about no skill saw. And come to find out, it wasn't Brian Miller, as another guy was laying car before me. Every Friday, he'd charge a skill saw to me and take it across the street to the bar over there and trade it for a case of beer.
Let's see. I think we'll save this one for last. I think, right? Okay. Here we go. $3,500 with this pledge here. This is from Miss Ruby Norman out on Loop Road.
Yeah, I know Ruby. She's my sweetheart. Thank you, Ruby, so much for this $50 pledge. I love you, Ruby.
Ruby is Ruby Sweet Treats.
Yeah.
Yeah, lady makes all the candy and all the cakes. Yeah, this is in memory of her late husband, Jackie Norman, and in memory of her daughter, Kim Parton, $50. Miss Ruby, thank you for your pledge tonight. And Clarence, what is our total now? $3,500, which leads us to our final pledge tonight. And Lonnie, better hang on to your boots because you may lose them when you read this one right here. It's from the girls.
Oh, that's my girls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Deborah Lawson.
Yeah.
And Tracy Dower and Cody Province.
Yeah.
And this is $3,500 is what we've raised tonight.
Yeah.
And here's what they are saying they're going to do tonight. They're going to match what we have raised, $3,500.
Girls, you're going to cause me to wet on myself. That's so sweet of you. But you've got to remember, I was there when you came in this world, and always Tracy, she came in causing all kinds of trouble when she got here, and from what JJ says, she still caused trouble. And little Debbie, she's so sweet, and I worked there for them, and Hack and Tommy's rough on Debbie. I mean, they won't know where she's at every minute, and I always take up for her. And one day, whatever it was, Hack was upset or something, and he said, "Have you seen Debbie?" And I said, "Why, yes, she just went out the door." "Well, I hadn't seen Debbie." And Hack said, "I don't believe a word of it." He said, "You're just taking up for her." And little Cody, she's just a sweetheart. She's just a sweetheart. And her and Paul's got some fine children. Anyway, my nephew Darren, he married Legal Wallen's girl Dawn, and it's about the time I guess they all began to start having their children. And anyway, I heard Darren say, I think one of her children was named Rusty or something like that, and they went to school together, and they was just babies. And Darren said, "I'm not going to worry about every which one of them was." Said, "I think she might be able to marry Rusty Providence." Said, "I know she'll be taken care of." Hey, thank you, girls, so much. You're sweethearts. I love all of you.
A $3,500 matching pledge, so that puts us at $7,000.
$7,000 we've raised. Thank the good Lord for that. Thank
Lonnie.
you, precious Jesus.
Congrats. Happy birthday, Lonnie. Matthew, get the mop over here. We're going to wrap it up. Clarence, thank you. Lonnie, thank you. Happy 86th birthday to you.
Thank you, and whoever the lady is that baked this beautiful cake, thank you too.
Miss Joyce Jones.
Miss Joyce Jones, thank you for this birthday cake.
And thanks to all of you for being a part of tonight's Telethon.
Everybody for stepping. And Debbie, thank you, and Tracy and Cody for this donation. It really helps a lot of people. Thank you, children.
Icing on the cake.
Icing on the cake.
Yes. Good night. Thank you.